I fear the wounds are fatal.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing this evening? Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me out there in the ether? Can you hear my voice coming to you from the airways? Did you love the new artwork coming in? A bit of 86 retro nonsense going on back there. We've got an action-packed evening for you. Lots to talk about. Lots of news just dropped. If you're looking at the Earthwars Discord, there's a new event coming this weekend. We're going to talk about that in a second with some new features. I've only just seen that these are being implemented. Great, thanks, Shape. You can hear me. Some interesting premium new features. We're going to talk through those. Tonight is a bit of a departure from the norm. Hey, Soundblast51, how you doing? Good to see you. Hopefully you can hear me tonight, buddy. Otherwise, we'd have to call you like No Blast 51. You found the volume dial, I hope. That was quite distressing for me last time. I just didn't know how to help. But I'm glad we got there in the end. Did everybody enjoy the event last weekend? I have to say, I've been struggling to find where best to put Wingblades. I've just put him on pipes with a primer core, which is a bit of an error. Because the primer core doesn't really correspond to his great big blast. So really, I'm still getting little use out of the primer core. Need to equip that to somebody with like Peacemaker, I think, or maybe Flak. But my Flak, 5-star Flak, is only at about level 8 because I don't really use it very often. But yeah, tonight is going to be very sort of new player focused. So I've had quite a few new players approaching me in Discord, which I love. Quite a few new players, chatting to them at Transformers Nation. So big hello to Carly, who me and my daughter met at Transformers Nation. Carly's super cool. She had this amazing set of train bots that she was trying to combine. She'd also picked up like a G1 Blitzwing, a G1 Inferno, more stuff, and I was just sat across from her eating our lunch, me and my little bear, and I was just desperate to talk to her because she had this really amazing stuff. And then we just started naturally talking, and straight away I ended up just geeking out and showing her Earthwars, and I think she's already downloaded it. She's hooked. I hope it's not costing her too much. But her getting into it, and other people like Constantine on Discord and others coming to chat has kind of inspired me to start thinking about how I can help you all when you're at that entry level or at that relatively sort of foothill kind of level of the game. How we can get you to a place where you're not feeling frustrated, where you're feeling like you're squeezing good value out of it. If you're still free to play, how to help you best there. And if you are looking at coining and paying to play, or spending as is the slang in the game, then what do you spend your money on? And what constitutes good value at the start. So tonight I'm going to go through some really Billy basic stuff around what cores with which bots, where is a sound investment in bots, how to just compile a decent team and what sort of bots you might want to go for. But also I just want to put a huge disclaimer with a great big sort of asterisk on everything I'm about to say, in that if the game is bringing you joy and you are just enjoying picking up the bots that mean a lot to you, then that is good enough. That is good enough. If it's joyful, then it's already ticked the biggest box going. So instantly, when I started playing, I was being gifted all these like 1980s retro bots, and honestly, I was just so happy that I was getting them all. Like, I remember I was driving to work one day. I was stuck in traffic, and I may have sort of naughtily started opening some crystals because we just weren't moving anywhere. And I was desperate to get Slug, the artist previously known as Slag. Obviously, we don't call him that anymore for good reason. And I remember sort of sweating it, like going, "Oh, am I going to get him? Am I going to get him?" and finally did pull him at 4-star, which meant that I could open up Volcanicus at 4-star. So the big ticket when you first start out is joy, but I get some people are going to be like, yeah, I want to do better. Hey Zoa, how you doing, buddy? Iaconus, nice to see you, mate. Thanks for all the nice words earlier as well. Really glad you're loving the artwork. I know there's a lot of people who don't like the AI generated stuff. I know there is a lot of people who much prefer the human generated stuff. My take on it is that mine is a bit of both. I produce some of it. AI helps me a little bit. I work in tech and AI. That doesn't mean I'm a soulless ghoul. I am very sort of forthright and liberal in my sort of view of the world, and very much about freedom being integral and important to all sentient beings. So I get the point, though, that people don't like the idea that AI is taking away creative, artistic jobs. So a point well made. However, I do tinker a little bit because I'm a terrible artist. I'm a great writer. I'm all right live. But from an art point of view, I'm afraid I'm just, not very good. So I'm kind of amalgamating styles a little bit at the moment. I hope you like it. It's all going to be very 86 coded. Cool. Right. Yes, the slag sludge thing was kind of ironed out in one of the comics. Obviously in America, slag doesn't mean what it means in the UK. I think it was a decent human move to shift him away from that name, because it just doesn't kind of work for us here, of course. It's a very, very derogatory term, usually aimed at women in the UK, and one that I wouldn't want ascribed to just a lovable Triceratops. Anyway, right. So we are going to go through all sorts tonight. So let's just transition to a different screen. Just bear with me 1 second. Enjoy these new graphics. Just going to transition to big me, small me. Get rid of big me. Here we go. Boom. With the magic of technology, I am now tiny. Hello, everybody. This is me in real size. I am now to scale. And on the screen, we have got my base. Now, obviously, this is not going to look like an entry-level base, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else. I appreciate that when you first start out, it's kind of like, what do I spend my resource on and all the rest of it. But to begin with, what we're going to do is just a quick talk through on cores. So you're going to get various bots. Like when you first start, obviously, unless you are coining like mad and buying stuff, you're not going to have a vast team of 5 stars. So this is my actual Ultra Pittus account. You're going to have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of 2 stars and 3 stars, maybe with a bit of reach into sort of 5 stars. So like you can see, I've obviously pulled drift when I first started playing. I've instantly put his G1 on him. Now often the G1 core, if you've been able to pull the G1 core, is a really great choice for the bot. They are specially engineered for the bot. So if we go to this little building, which is your power core lab, which you will get, as you transit up the game, you get building cores and bot cores. But let's focus on bot cores just for now. So a combat, which is your either minion bot, your gun bot, or these wonderful little creatures that are drawn from all quarters of the canon, of the mythologies, of the Transformers universe, multiverse. Everywhere from like rescue bots, as in with Wingblaze, all the way through to like Rung and Armada, and Lionizer and Dazzlestrike, who are, Lionizer is a component of Greenlight from War for Cybertron. So these little mini bots for me just embroider loads of like lore love into the whole thing. But let's not focus on combats just for now. So there's a thing called prime cores. So these are all of your 13 prime cores, all named after one of the 13 primes, and they are all going to give you specific big advantages. Oh, you feel pretty useless in your alliance. I'm sure you aren't. It's just a matter of grinding. And I know everybody says, oh, you got to grind. You can grind in free to play, or you can coin and advance a little bit quicker. A lot quicker if you have those resources. But I would say just be careful, because it's really easy to go overboard and end up in lots of debt. So if you're buying packages, if you're buying bundles, I really enjoy doing it personally. I really enjoy like the thrill of it. But also you got to be mindful about economics, eh? So we'll talk about prime cores in a different part of the episode, maybe later, maybe a whole different episode. But let's just start with G1 cores. So there are at the moment 3 types of rarities within the cores. So you've got these kind of, I'm sure there is an official term, but like the steel kind of looking silver core. You've got the gold cores, which are like the next stage up. And then you've got the G metal cores, which are these sort of dark blue, pinky neon cores. These different rarities of core are going to offer you different tiers of advantage. And each one of them requires investment to get them to a better stage. So let's say you want to bring Alpha Trion up using his G1 core. So let me show you my Alpha Trion right now, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. And I appreciate for a lot of people out there in the chat, this might be kind of, hey Chicho, how you doing, buddy? Great to have you here, mate. And Volcanic is 7 years in the game. Gosh, that is a long while, mate, and far longer than me. So well done for that. That, you know, if you're in the military, you'd have probably acquired a medal or 2 by now. I would imagine you've got thousands. So back to the core business. So for my entry-level players, yeah, Cyberknight cores, that's going to be the 4th level of rarity. Rarity is in the cores, not the My Little Pony, just, you know, to differentiate. So you can see here, Alpha Trion, every bot has a special ability, and you can bring that up to level 11 usually. Some of them only go to level 10. But level 11 unlocks all sorts of additional features. So you're going to get higher numbers of damage. You're going to get better output for that particular ability. And it all boils down to usually percentage-based mathematics of how much better it's going to make your bot when your bot loses that special ability. And there will be a cost to it. 4 plus 3, 4 plus 0, 5 plus 0, whatever. I can't remember which is the most costly bot, but I'm pretty sure I've seen an 8 plus something somewhere. Somebody in the chat will definitely know. But the cores usually give you an advantage to the special ability, to the bot's secondary kind of weapon form effect, so the thing that they do just while they're kind of pootling along, you know, brassing things up, ruining the day of the Decepticons or ruining the day of the Autobots if you are a dead-eyed murderer and have chosen to go with the Decepticons, as my friend Carly has. I won't say that I'm disappointed, Carly, but, you know, I thought better of you. But I am, however, drinking from, here we go, a 1980s Kilncraft Galvatron mug, which I had when I was about 6. I've rebought this recently off Vinted. Thank you so much for whoever sold it to me. I love it so much. But anyway, back to the core business. So let me show you, new players, what this means for you by way of resources. And if you go to my Discord server, you will see that every 3.5 hours, Moonblade, who is our Discord server bot, will send out a little useful guide to resource farming. It's probably quite annoying for everybody now, because every 3.5 hours, or whenever I say anything, she jumps in and kind of tells me to start farming resources. But the reality is the game will allow you to farm for resources. So when you first start out, a few thousand Energon cubes is going to be like you becoming a millionaire. Yeah, better things to do tonight than die. Boom. But as you start, I mean, you can see I'm currently what my little girl calls meeping. I don't know why, but she goes meep 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 when she's like the Roadrunner, when she's sort of collecting all the things. Like that was 9,339 energon from each of my energon mills there. So basically 40,000 energon that I've just pulled out of the ground. Sorry, Earth. But when you start out, that's going to be like probably 2 weeks worth of energon farming for you. Let me show you why this matters. Number one, if you don't spend your energon and if you don't spend your alloy that you begin to accrue, number one, you'll just top out because it will just fill up and the game won't let you sort of go beyond a certain number depending on what level your resource storage is. So top tip, try and evolve your base at the speed of your bots. So as you're evolving your base, you can either choose to up your resources, like your energon, your alloy, the storage for those things, or your defenses. Now, here's my top tip for you entry-level players. And people may at me for this, but let's see, I'm being a bit contentious. Ignore the defenses for a while. Ignore the defenses. You need two things when you're starting out. You need energon and you need alloy. Later on, you're going to need Zen, so Z energon. But when you first start, you're going to need energon and alloy to increase your bots, to invest in the cores, to invest in their special abilities, to make it so that you can spend the spark that you're going to be accruing and that the game is sequentially going to give to you. So top tip is to improve your alloy and energon early. I would do that to its maximum that you can. Get your scanner up to a decent level as soon as possible because that's going to allow you to get access to dispatch missions. So dispatch missions, I remember when dispatch missions first came up, I was like, oh God, no, I don't know if I want to do anything else in the game. I just want to go and attack the thing. A dispatch mission is access through the scanner when you get to a certain level of the scanner, and it's just going to allow you to kind of semi-autonomously send little teams of your bots off to go and do stuff in heavy inverted commas while you're doing other stuff. You won't be able to use those bots unless you cache them out, but they will go away, and for a temporal period, a matter of hours or sometimes some days, then they'll come back and they'll bring you some energon, some alloy, some spark, some zen, all sorts of little goodies, and it will give them XP. So it's another clever way of just maxing out your resources. Because when you first start out, you're going to be resource starved. You're going to be resource hungry, and you're going to need every little bit of it you can. And here's why. So, oops, that's prime cores. Let's say we were going to start improving this core, so Alpha Bravo. Let's say we now want to take that little silver core to its maximum level, so up to level 20. Just for science, let's see how much it would cost to do that, purely using gold cores. And then that's it. So for you to max out the Alpha Bravo silver core, it's going to cost you 1,214 energon, and it's going to cost you 5 gold cores. So that's 1.2 million energon to get that little silver core to a good level. And if you do, as you can see on my screen right now, his ability damage has doubled just by doing that. Just by putting that core on him. You've gone from 4% ability damage to 8.5% ability damage. Protection has gone up by 9%. So you've gone from 5 to 14 for 1.2 million energon. So this is why it's really important to increase your cores and select the right ones for them. There's going to be a whole range of stuff that you get from a core point of view. So allow me to just show you what I mean. So if we were to equip a core to Grimlock, for example, you might well pull Grimlock's crown, which gives you a whole different set of things around his abilities. So for example, at level 13, it will give you 12% ability damage and 10% attack and move speed. However, he's also got a G1 core, which will increase his ability damage, but give him 20% lifesteal for 6 seconds after using his special ability. If you improve that core, his ability damage will probably go up to like 15.5. But of course, then you've got prime cores, rather, which you'll accrue much later in the game for entry-level players. So what I would start by doing entry-level players is identify the bots you've got, identify what cores you've got, and if you've got any of the G1 cores for those particular bots, I would assess it from the point of view of, is the G1 core better than a generic core? And by a generic core, what I mean is what you can see on the screen right now. So, for example, Hoist doesn't have a G1 core, to my knowledge. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And so it's a toss-up then between, do you put a prime core on him, or do you put a universal core on him? And if it's a universal core, it's going to be an attack core. So at maximum G metal, that will take you to, as you can see on the screen, 14.5%. A rejuvenate core, which will give you 3% health every 5 seconds. Or you might choose a vitality core, which is going to give you plus whatever percent at maximum. So it's going to be about, I don't know, maybe 16.5. I don't know if I've got a maxed out vitality core. Doesn't look like I have. That in itself tells you a bit of a story. I don't tend to use the generic cores terribly often. When you're first starting out, if you've not got access to any other cores, what I would do is load up an attack core, a rejuvenate core, or a vitality core onto your bots. Wallbuster isn't really going to help you. And please come at me, other players, if you do favour any of these cores. That the only reason I don't use them is I've kind of got it into my muscle memory that I never really use them. I remember when I first started out, I was a little bit like, "Ooh, Wallbuster, that's going to be super useful," but then less so, to be perfectly honest. What other odd little rarities do we have? So this one, the Tactician core, targets defences and outpost bots for 36 seconds after deployment. I don't know anybody in kind of prime leagues, any of the kind of colleagues that I play with who have tactician cores on anything. I think they are purely a massive murder of crows is just floating past my window. It's like slightly Lovecraftian up in my office. Anyway, so for me, tactician cores they're there to just be kind of sold on and used as kind of, metal coleslaw really to put into the mincer for everything else. So are the Wallbuster cores. So I would give Wallbuster and Tactician a stiff ignoring new players. If you need to, it's Rejuvenate, it's Vitality, or it's Attack as kind of a stopgap for better G1 flavoured cores. Yeah, they might recruit me. Who knows? I think they already have. Then there are sort of bot type specific. So you'll be aware, new players, that if you were to select your bot, it'll tell you what they are. So as you can see on my screen right now, I've got Rustdust up. Rustdust was the very first bot that I leveled because she's really fun to use. She's really amazing to level because she's got that kind of H-bomb special ability with artillery support. If you get her, I would max her because she is such a Such an easy bot to use. She's such a friend to an entry-level player. She's very satisfying to use from a special ability point of view. She's very, very strong with pretty much any of her G1 cores and at pretty much any of her levels relative to the level that you're playing at. And you can see here, she at max level, and she's 5+3, so she's expensive. So she's 8 straight away. She's going to call in artillery and then basically just erase a massive set of grid squares off the board for you. And her G1 will give that back to you in health, so it makes it very difficult to kill her if she's using her special ability regularly, and gives the special ability 15.5. Best con now is Waspinator. Is that Slipstream in Autobot terms? Help me out, Shape. Because you know I'm really good at knowing the Decepticons. So what I was saying here is you can sort of click on the description. So you can see the little icon here that says range special. You can bring that up and ask it basically what that means. So range special, bots in the special class, highly individual fighters with special capabilities. Check their stats and use them in battle to uncover their secrets. The secret with Rust Duster is she's extremely fast, quite suicidal, has incredible coverage of her special ability, but she is going to be, off, doing her own thing pretty quickly. But if you were to look at, say, sort of warrior class, you're talking about tanks. So, So warrior class is a tank. A tank like Grimlock, like Ironhide, like Armada Scavenger, like Pipes, like Slug. They are there to absorb the pain. Hotspot. So you're going to need one, warrior type tank in your squad. So if any of you all out there who are entry-level players have pulled a Grimlock, an Ironhide, a Pipes, a Slug, a Hotspot, who else? Let's just have a look down. Beast Wars Ironhide, yeah-ish, but not great, because he'll die super, super quickly. Beachcomber's not a rush-in tank. We're talking about the rush-in tanks here. So bots that will fly off at your direction for very little cost. So like Hotspot is one that I used quite a lot when I first started playing. He's relatively cheap, 3+3. And generally this is the sketch with a rush-in tank. They gain health as you use the ability, so you can keep them alive. They have very high health, and you're able to shield them with shield combat. And then usually they will have some sort of elemental power. Yeah, definitely not Russian tanks. Elemental power ascribed to them, or just normal damage. And then they'll taunt defenses. I love the idea of taunting defenses. It's very Monty Python, isn't it? Sort of the French guys on the top of the castle. So they'll taunt the defenses a second time when they get to their target. But really they are there to absorb the pain for you. So your other bots will live longer if you've got a decent rush-in tank, a decent warrior bot that you've invested a bit of love and time in. So entry-level players, have fun, smash stuff up, brass stuff up, win by any costs, throw all the bots you've got at everything. But if I were to give you advice on which bots you want to invest in, pick a decent rush tank. So Grimlock for me was the number one choice. He's one of my favourite characters of all time. He's a big bozo. He's the reason Computron exists. He's just, a simple Tyrannosaurus Rex. And Pipes, if you watch some of Sunstreaker Waz's old stuff, he was like very invested in Pipes. Hey Ashbourne, how you doing? Pipes is a great choice. So at the moment I've got a terrible setup for Pipes. Do not follow this setup for Pipes, everybody. I was being a bit experimental and emphasis on the mental. I'm afraid. So, you know, pipes, you can see here, 3+2. So he's super cheap. His ability gives him the health back, or some of the health back. And you can see for pipes, it gives you acid elemental damage, which if you pair with fire, it's, you know, great. Shape, you're chucking all of your 4 stars at enemies, all 7 of them. Yeah, that's cool. You know, that's kind of what you got to do at the start, because you got no other option. Grimlock for me was the optimum, 3+2, purely because he deals normal damage. So normal damage, not counterable by any sort of build bots or any other effects. You know, they are having that damage whether they like it or not. So there is that. So you got Grimlock, you got Pipes. Who else? Ironhide is a great choice. These are all basically, from a technical point of view, the same bot in a different skin with a slightly different mechanic and a slightly different elemental sort of thing. Oh, Shape, random bullshit go is an awesome strategy. It's basically what I put my entire career on in the military. Find me many army officers who don't. I think that's an excellent strategy. Yes. So who else while we're looking at it? Not Grapple. No, he's more a support bot. Slug you could use. He's fire coded. You know, you've got Grimlock, you've got Slug, you've got Pipes. They're all much of a muchness, so pick your poison, really. The drawback with Slug is he hasn't got a G1 core, so you're limited. I mean, I say that, I don't have a G1 core on Grimlock at the moment. So Slug's a good investment if you've got him at a decent level already. Hotspot, for some reason, is 3+3, whilst all the others are 3+2. But he is broadly the same bot, except he renders a reflection shield instead of any kind of elemental damage. So I'd kind of avoid Hotspot just because he's a point more expensive and doesn't really give you much more. Sludge, I know Sludge was like one of my #1 favourite characters. I had a hand-me-down Sludge toy, but he's just so blundering and so squishy. I'd love to hear from those of you in the community who use Sludge regularly and how you use him. Teach me, because I so want him to be better. And you can see he's right down here at the bottom. I love him so much, but you know, I just wish he was better. And then you've got Armada Scavenger, who I didn't know existed until I started playing this game. You can see I've invested absolutely nothing in him whatsoever. I pulled him months ago, but I've invested all the love that I've sort of been able to give sort of financially into Grimlock and a couple of the others. But if Armada Scav is your guy, then he's a great choice for a rush tank. And he's got a great power core. So you can see it's giving, this is what I mean with the nuances of power cores. You know, it's giving you 6% special ability damage at level 1. And buildings hit by special ability are covered in acid for 6 seconds, which means they can't heal. And susceptible to fire, because there is elemental synergy that you need to also be mindful of. So acid plus fire will equal far greater damage than just, you know, something on its own. Yeah, I've never watched Armada myself. Now you'll see, do I have any energon that I can use for this? Let's see. Yeah, so you'll see, like, just putting 1 silver core into the G metal for 30,000 energon takes it up straight away to like level 5. But by the time you get up to like level 16, it's going to be like bajillions. So let me show you how much it would cost in core terms for us to fill up this Armada Scavenger. So just see how the cost is sort of totting up. Here we go. How many is it going to be? We're at level 18. So these are all just level 1 gold cores that I've got sitting here doing nothing. So we're going to have to use some silver ones as well. I just want to show you how much the energon cost is to bring this to code up to maximum level 20 for any G metal core. And if CF is around, help me out, mate. I think they're all the same cost. Prime cores are different. So to go from 0 to hero with a G metal core, it is going to cost you, plus the original 30,000 energon that I paid to bring it from level 0 to level 5, 22.78 million energon to go from nothing to max. However, and you may be taking sharp intakes of breath and going, good God, how am I ever going to do that? And why would I do that? Yeah, that's exactly why, and Megatron is so focused on it. It's going to take, and we could really do with sorting out the graphics on this, 'cause the name always obscures the second bit. It's a bit of a bug. I must note that down, actually. Send it in. The ability damage has practically doubled. So it's gone from 8 to 15.5. And whatever that is beneath Armada Scavenger's massive sniper's dream of a head is gone up to 6 seconds. So, but for 22.7 million. Kaboom. So, yeah, that's going to take acid to 6 seconds, which it already is. So it's going to do nothing for the acid. But you see the point. It is economies of scale. When you first start out, you're like, should I spend the energy on this, on this, and this? Spend it on your bots. Spend it on their special abilities. Spend it on their cores. Invest in their G1 core or an attack, vitality, or rejuvenate core. None of the others. And then just put all your energy on into those bots. So, here endeth the lesson almost on cores. So you've got lots of different types. So we've done warrior. You've got gunner. So volatile mixture cores are going to be important for your gunners. Absolutely nothing else will be. I'm so sorry. Somebody is trying to ring me on Signal. And I'm just going to quit that. One sec. Really should have remembered to put do not disturb on, which I'm now going to do somehow. If I could find it. Let me just see where we are. Do not disturb. Focus. Focus, focus, Diplodocus. Right. Boom. So, volatile mixture is going to be super important to you. Doesn't matter what level of the game you're at, you're going to have gunners who need volatile mixture. So time spent using volatile mixture and investing in it, never ever wasted. Also, you may be thinking to yourself, I've invested lots and lots of energy in my silver cores. Surely then when I get to my gold cores, of which I have none in the gunner class, you may be thinking, well, I've just wasted lots of energy on those particular cores. The beauty of it is that you can then absorb those silver cores. So I can absorb that level 5 core into one of these just by sort of going to there and then selecting whichever level 5 core it was. The user interface for this is really a bit of a pain in the arse, but you can pick any of your cores regardless of what level they're at and integrate them for a cost with your gold cores. So that is pretty good. If you've already spent money on cores, it will also bulk up the core that you're integrating them with even faster than if it were just a level 1. My point is, don't worry about investing in cores early because you're going to be able to use them as you move up the game. You're not going to lose any resource, time, money, effort by doing that as long as you reabsorb them. Hello, Aubrey. Nice to meet you, buddy. Thank you for joining. We're just talking about cores. We're just on gunners. So volatile mixture, massively important. Flak jacket, massively unimportant as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so I wouldn't invest any resource whatsoever in flak jacket. I would invest lots of resource in volatile mixture, because as you can see at level 20, that's going to give you 15.5% ability damage. So if you were to whack one of these on blue streak, like I do, that is going to give you some serious gunnery. And as we know, gunnery is funnery. So let's just see what a full sort of silver volatile mixture will do for you. So volatile, and you'll see it's different levels for different devils. Some of them cost a little bit more, some of them cost a little bit less. So a full level 20 maxed out, level 10 maxed out silver volatile mixture is going to get you to 8.5% ability damage. That is not bad. That is not bad. And it's a game of marginal gains. So if your bots are ever so slightly better, you'll win. So, for 980 Energon, you get a top whack silver volatile mixture to put on Blue Streak, to put on Smokescreen, to put on Hound, to put on Rotor Storm, to put on any of your gunners, on Gears, and you're just going to start brassing the bad guys up. Cybernite cores are not out yet, buddy. Not out, not even in playtest. So I and one of the other content creators will let you know when they start coming out. You can see, as we're looking at this, there is a little section for them. Those kind of bronzy gold butterscotch kind of looking nuggets there. As you can tell, I haven't had dessert and I'm feeling a bit peckish. Could just eat some butterscotch. That would be lovely, or some fudge. I don't have it. I normally have. I just want to show you all what I have in my office, because I am a 44-year-old child. I have this kind of Cookie Monster thing, which normally is full of cookies, but tonight, sadly not. A Cybernite core shape is going to be the new top level core. So if you thought G Metal was good, you'll love Cybernite, because Cybernite will be more powerful, more expensive, more rare, and it's going to seriously shift the balance of the most effective tactics available, the meta in the game. So it's going to properly boot a cat amongst the pigeons, put a fox in the hen coop, put a snake amongst the maternity ward. Pick your analogy. It is going to shake the world up slightly. I'm very excited about it, purely because I have a gajillion cores that I just don't really know what to do with, and they're all just sat there, kind of sort of gathering dust. Ulbury. So let me help you out here, buddy. So let me read your questions. So also, could you see build for Smokescreen? Sure thing, buddy. I'm going to show you right now. So Smokescreen is probably the most important bot in the game. Without Smokescreen, I would not be as successful a player as I am. He is just an awesome bot. I never really was a massive fan of him. I have his Age of the Primes skin on there. I may have recently bought the Age of the Primes toy from Hasbro, which is just a delight. It's super easy. It's just really fun to transform and play with, and feels really nice in your hand, because I'm very neurodiverse and like that sort of thing. I'm going to show you what I run on Smokescreen. So if you were to have looked at my Smokescreen a few weeks ago, you would have seen a level 5 Tyrannotron on him. Tyrannotron, easily the best combat in the game for destructive purposes, I think, right now. He's a tiny little dinosaur. Here it is in real life. He was an attachment to Snarl in the 1992 Action Masters toy line. So he's really, really niche His execute special ability basically gives you sniper ability for like 90% of the entire board. And he is critical to my strategy of sniping multi-defense systems. The equivalent to smokescreen. Not asking me. I believe the equivalent to smokescreen in the Decepticons is... help me out. Is it Antagony? No, that's Taz Kid. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Ulbri's an Autobot shape, so he doesn't need to know, you know, what devious sort of backstabbing robots you guys play with. I put a Nexus core on him. Yeah, I'll figure it out in a minute. I'll figure it out. CF did send me a sheet with like all of the things, and I promptly lost it. I put a Nexus core on him. You could also run his G1 core. Let me show you what his G1 core would do for you. You could also put a volatile mixture core on him. So at 50, if you don't have a Nexus core, because you have to either acquire them through the game, and they are rare, or you buy them. Nexus is super important to my war squad, because as you can see here, just read what's on the screen at the moment. When Smokescreen's in the battle, all of my bots deal 33.5 DPS more to the enemy combiner. So the enemy combiner lasts for like nanoseconds until he's like biting the dust. If I deploy this bot before my combiner, which I always do, my combiner gains 33.5% against the base, which means my Computron, who is my war combiner, I'm building up my Opmax at the moment, will turn that base into metal coleslaw quickly. And that's and it'll reduce raid damage by 50%, which is more about using it in defense. So for me, Nexus is wildly important. So you could put any of the prime cores on it. I put Nexus on my Smokescreen because it's special ability level 11 and he's a maxed out level 70 general. His special ability is already really quite powerful. I could put his G1 on, which is going to give him 100% more DPS against bots and combiners, but it will just give it to him, not anybody else. So yeah, I could snipe the combiner or the bots, and it will probably ninja them one shot, maybe, and it's a big maybe. And it'll cover him in exhaust smoke to give him 50% damage resistance for 5 seconds. It's an awesome combination. I'm not writing it off in the slightest. I sometimes alternate it just for keeping everybody on their toes. Or you could go for Volatile Mixture, which is going to make his special ability at level 11. And if he's anywhere past level 65, it's going to make him devastating. Absolutely devastating. But yeah, I run Nexus, and I tend not to move that around too much. Tyrannotron is an awesome choice for him. I've also had Glitch on him. Glitch will hold him right back, but it doesn't have a DPS advantage. It has kind of a, you know, one of those kind of slot machines where you pull the thing and it spins around, and you might win, you might not. It's a bit like that, but it's quite powerful. You could put Nightstick on him, but that's not going to hold him back. It's going to give him advantages from a health point of view. It's going to give him plus 41 DPS, which is amazing. If you put his G1 core on him, that's just going to turn him into a stone cold serial killer. And it's going to heal him. What's not to love? You could put Trenchfoot on him. That's not massive in the meta. Hasn't got great range. I'm still sort of on the fence about that. And you could put Stylor on him, which again is going to give him hold back. And it's going to give him plus 25 and blind and a load of other stuff. I've run that on him too. But my absolute number one favourite is Tyrannotron for him. The only reason I'm not running a 5-star Tyrannotron on Smokescreen right now is because I've got that on my Mirage. which is just an incredible bot. So that, mate, is what I would do with Smokescreen. So other bot cores, we've got gunners, we've talked about that. So avoid flak jacket, not particularly useful. Medic, ray boosters, yeah, 100%. If you've not got Micronus, just put a load of love into ray boosters. You're never going to regret investing in any of your medics. So the medics I would choose, number 1, I would choose Ratchet. Number 2, I would choose Wheeljack. Number 3, I would choose Minerva. Number 4, Retgar. And number 5, First Aid. In that order. The meta may shift. And certainly Minerva is well overdue special ability level 11. But getting your medics to the highest possible level soon and getting 2 of them on your squad as soon as it's practical, i.e. when you've upgraded your shuttle and you've got enough slots, essential. I always run with 2 medics, and I very rarely lose. I've recently been pulling pretty much solid 300s against everyone we've faced. It's usually when I'm eating breakfast or distracted by baked goods that I drop, which is frequent. Air, so enhanced ordnance is the core that you're going to want to invest some time in. You can see I have got it on loads of my characters. So Air Raid, Essential. I've got it on Jetfire Sky Striker. I've got it on SG Jetfire. I've got it on Trax, but I'm going to take it off Trax because I don't really know what it does for him. Trax is more of a support bot. Got it on Slingshot. Got it on Silverbolt. Got it on Powerglide, who I've just brought to General and maxed him out. So if anyone's interested in that, I'll show you him in working order soon. Tigerhawk, Strafe, yeah. So enhanced ordnance, you can't fail to squeeze value out of that core. Reflective coating, I wouldn't bother with, because you can see these are the bots that I put it on when I first started playing. Just looking at them, it's kind of nostalgic for me, because I was just like, don't die, don't die, don't die, you're dead. So on the one hand, I'd have done anything just to keep bots alive. On the other, I would just think about how you make sure your bots destroy things rather than just stay alive a little bit longer, because you just want to destroy stuff to win at the start, and it's a marginal game. Marginal advantage. So enhanced ordnance you can't go wrong with for your airbots. And then that's pretty much it, I think. Universal, we've talked through. G1, yeah, you can't really go wrong with investing in G1 cores. Even the kind of weird special ones like Elita's Armor. So if you look at like the bot specific cores, you've got Elita's Armor for Elita 1, obviously. That is her G1 core. She doesn't have another core. Grimlock is an oddity because he's got a G1 core and a Grimlock's Crown core. Amusingly, when you put the Grimlock's Crown core on Grimlock, a little crown appears on his head, which I adore, and he wears it all the way through the battle. It's almost worth it just for that. There's also, I believe, a Starscream's crown version of this shape. I'm sure you must have that. If not, I'm sure you'll be pursuing it soon. Golden Disc for Optimal Optimus is the optimal core for Optimal Optimus. Rodimus has got a G1 core as well. So yeah, I thought you would. Rodimus. So when you give Rodimus, Hot Rod, and Optimus their matrices, they appear on them in the animation, which tickles me. I love that. But also you can see Rodimus's core is just amazing. It gives him shitloads of useful stuff. When you look at like Ultra Magnus's, it's just like gives you 16% ability. It's like somebody was just like opened the fortune cookie and went meh. Yeah, they give him that. Whereas Rodimus has been like Here, have all these lovely Christmas presents. So V-Lock Cannon, Star Saber, again, you can't go wrong. Optimus Prime's Matrix, 10.5% health. No. If you are playing with Optimus, you need his G1 core for him to survive and for him to effectively run the rush strategy that you will doubtless be running. Because certainly when I started playing, I was using, and the reason you get Optimus early is because he will shepherd your troops onto the HQ and allow you to win, which is just super cool, isn't it? What else? Any other oddities while we are here? I don't think so. The rest are just bot specific G1 cores, certainly for the Beast Wars era. So like these transmetal ones, really cool. They'll make you bots go that kind of cool psychedelic transmetal color, which is real fun. I love that, like transmetal Cheetor and all this kind of thing. Cool. So that's cores. I hope that's been useful to you all. Entry level players. Scorched Earth. Anyone want to see a live war? I am a Pathfinder for my line, so I am at liberty to run at these guys. So if anybody would like me to do some live war coverage, do let me know in the chat. So just to recap, ladies and gents, and everybody else in the chat. Number one, cores. Invest in your G1 core, invest in enhanced ordnance, invest in volatile mixture, invest in ray boosters. War. Yes, war never changes. So invest in those, and then balance what you get using your G1 against what you might get using either a class specific or a universal core, and go with your gut on that. I really like seeing the G1 core because it changes the animation, makes them look a bit more G1, gives them an outline, gives them a slightly different skin. That just tickles me and makes sort of 4-year-old me super happy. Right, we'll do some live war business. I am just going to very quickly have an admin break, and I will be right back with some live war. Don't go anywhere. If you've got more questions, stick them into the chat. I will be right back. Okay, everyone, we are back. Drink is acquired. Sorry, I was getting a little bit parched there. Right, here we go. Right, Alliance War. We are squaring down against Scorched Earth. Big salute to Scorched Earth. What a great alliance they are. Up first, we have got Target. Let's take a look. Time spent in reconnaissance is never wasted, ladies and gentlemen, never wasted. So the thing you want to be looking at when you are going into battle is, certainly in the later stages of playing, is where are the build bots and what they're equipped with. Because the build bots are going to be the things that will slow you down from the point of view of using particular elemental damage. They're going to mitigate any shields that you might have. Oh, sorry, Cheech. Yes, you did ask me about first aid. So generally, and I base this purely on the fact that I don't see many people using him. I don't use him. I think the last time I used him was like at 3-star level about a year and a bit ago, because he was the only medic that I really had. And also I was like, do I really need a medic? Now, I should know better because I'm an ex-soldier, and I know that you always need as many medics as you can possibly take with you, because who, likes an overdose of metal without a medic? And it's the same in this game. So I would say to you, buddy, if he is your best medic, if you've got him at 4-star and he's the only 4-star medic you've got, then you go hell for leather, buddy, and you invest in him, because he's going to be, the medics are all kind of much of a muchness. They will give you something. Every single one of them will heal to pretty much the same degree at every level up to max. It's just they've got different ways of doing it and different other advantages that they give. Does that mean first aid isn't any good? No, it doesn't. It just means that most people out there favour Ratchet, Wheeljack, Minerva, Retgar more. But break that cycle, buddy. In fact, the next time I've got 5,000 5-stars, I'll pull him, because he's the only one I've not got in one of the batches. And I'll build him up, or I'll do it on playtest. We'll have a look at him in a minute. Right, so we're reconning the space. So we've got some ray blockers up here, which are going to kill off any medical help. We've got anti-fire zone right up here. Oh, 5-star medic, yeah. Yeah, if he's a 5-star medic, mate, and you got him, use him. If he's your only one, use him, because he'll be better than all the others. But yeah, try and pull Ratchet, try and pull Wheeljack. So we've got ray blockers, we've got fire, doesn't matter, we're not going to use any fire, and we've got high frequency suppressor, which is going to stop any hack. You will see the way I play a base like this. So for those of you who are just starting out, for those of you who are thinking about configuring your bases, this is called a rear-loaded base. That feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Because there's stuff at the front and there's stuff at the back. The important stuff is up here in the north. Down here in the south are all the resources, all those juicy resources that are going to give you ability points as you go through the battle. The idea is that your bots will be drawn, like moths to the flame, like, children in Disney to the candy floss, like my daughter, to have one bite of it and then walk away from it, leaving me to be sticky for the rest of the day. Just like those little creatures, there are things like this, and like this, and like this, which are going to draw your bots up to them, to make them want to path in different ways. The alchemy of the game, the science, the mechanics, the fingertip muscle memory of this game is learning how to path, like without Optimus or without Megatron telling them, or without Ariel telling them where to go. So to begin with, you are limited to, drop all your bots down. They all just go, woo, and run around like headless chickens. That's cool, because that's kind of how it is, and it's kind of fun. You will see in Dead Bot Squad, I still enjoy doing that. But there is a magic and a mystery to learning how to path, and I'm going to show you how that works in a second. But all the stuff that will kill you, the majority of stuff, apart from these outposts, just here, the majority of stuff that will kill you if you don't deal with it before you get to it is up here in the north. Yeah, you're going to have a strategy to deal with this naughty little boy here, the Megatronus MDS, because an MDS is A, very difficult to kill, B, very powerful, and C, if it's equipped with a prime core like Megatronus, 1, it's got really big range, and 2, it will melt your face within seconds. As sequentially your bots will march up to it and then just be like in Wicked, buckets of hot magma thrown at them, and it'll be like, I'm melting over the world, and they'll be gone forever. The conventional wisdom is also to equip one of the MDS with Vector. So Vector gives you the ability to kind of play again you rewind time to 22 seconds ago, and it will come back to life with whatever it had 22 seconds ago. So it's there to be an XP, or rather an ability point vampire, because as you'll see in a minute, I'm going to use lots of ability points killing that, but I will kill it rather quickly. So let's have a run, shall we? This is my war squad. So warrior class, tank, Grimlock, absorbs pain. Taz Kid, had no idea who he was until I started playing this game, but Beast Wars, he annoys the shit out of me because he is super powerful, absolutely integral to my strategy, but wanders off like, you know, a lost officer cadet, you know, without a map, or indeed with a map. Just painful, but super important. Rook, also sort of warrior class, but he is what we would call an outpost popper, because he's going to conjure like RC. He is going to conjure a decoy, and his decoy is infinitely stronger than RC's, sadly. RC really needs a rework, because I love her as a character. I love what Skybound have done with her in the comics, because I'm very up for seeing extremely strong women and extremely strong women characters in things. But in the game, she's a bit more expensive, and she's just not quite as good. And she's a shade quicker, which means she walks faster than the rest of your bots, which is not ideal. So, Rook, important, because he's going to pop outposts. You use his special ability, as I'll show you, he'll pop a hollow of himself up, and that will pop the outpost before you get there, which means whoever's in the outpost will waste their special ability on your hollow, not on your bots, as they sort of giggle and watch the Decepticon kind of go, what? As he or she wakes up and fails to, you know, destroy everybody. Recent addition to my team, Mirage, I use now in place of Air Raid for certain stuff, and I'm going to use him here. Ratchet, absolutely essential. Blue Streak is my gunner, so he's my one-shot gunner. Crippling Shot is super important. You could also use SG Jetfire, you could also use Roadbuster, but both of those, whilst brilliant bots in their own right and brilliant characters, would very much like to acquire a G1 Roadbuster. It's so expensive. Blue Streak is the optimum choice, and you can see what I've got on him there. So Blue Streak. Who else would I have? Smokescreen, just the most important bot in the team. And then Wheeljack, who is my second medic. I've recently brought Alchemist up to a really good level. Alchemist is an extremely strong prime, and I commend him to you. He is absolutely awesome. If you are thinking, should I invest time and money and effort in one of the primes, I would definitely invest in Alchemist. I love the primes anyway, so they just tickle me. And then my Warbiner is Computron. I'm at the moment leveling up my Optimus Maximus, who is at very low level, so he started from scratch. He's coming up to level 11 in the next sort of 48 hours. So I'm kind of excited about where he comes in. So let's activate Computron and let's do this. Let's do it live. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Boom. So this is how I'm going to path. Let's do this. So we're going to drop Grimlock, and then we're going to drop Taz Kid. Taz Kid is going to vaporize all of that stuff, which is going to interest these guys, and I'm going to drop them all down there. And then I'm using Smokescreen's special ability while all that stuff destroys, because otherwise, if you go over 40 ability points, they'll just evaporate into nothing. So you've got to use them quick, and you've got to use them for the right things. Now this is what I mean. Taz is going to start wandering up north. So you can see there, that vector is dead. So now what am I going to target next? Well, the Megatronus MDS is out of range. The next thing I want to be killing really is like the Nexus Prime core, but I'm going to start killing that Liege core, because it's the Liege core that's going to cause bots problems if they get too close to it. They've killed off the thing that would have brought me close to the outpost. That's the Liege Core dead. I'm now going to kill off that Onyx, just for fun. So he's popped out, but he's not going to give anybody any trouble, really. And now it's just game of sniping. Now, remember, if you're using Blue Streak, his first 2 shots are not highly powered. Second, or rather third shot, very highly powered. We've got Mind Wipe popped up on the left there. Mind Wipe can be turned off by using Taz Kid and Mirage's special ability. I'm going to drop Alchemist down here just to give them some health back. Alchemist, an absolute killer. And you can see here, Mind Wipe is now stunned, switched off, and his health is really not looking great. So I should say that I am operating without my A-grade Titan at the moment. I'm operating with a really low-level Metroplex, which is not ideal, but, you know, needs must. Should be able to do it still without worrying too unduly about this. And I'm going to start brassing up that Megatronus MDS. Now I am in place. Got to keep your eye on those ability points, especially if you're switching Mind Wipe off. But as soon as Mind Wipe is on the ground, you know, he's very easy to kill. He's not going to cause you too many problems. As you can see, my Metroplex is absolutely getting his ass handed to him, which means Nemesis is going to be, you know, up and at me anytime soon. Which is, again, not ideal, but, you know, it won't really change the price of fish. I've still got Computron up and running. Megatronus MDS is not looking great. For the other side, that is. Alchemist is still doing some good work. I'm going to just brass this up with Taz's ability just to stun these guys. Got Galvatronus. I'm going to give a preemptive Wheeljack special ability here. The Wheeljack special ability increases everybody's attack and move speed for 10 seconds. So they are suddenly going to get much stronger, much quicker. I've still got Computron in my back pocket, but I'm not going to need him, even with my Titan down. Everybody is still looking pretty rosy. That's Galvatronus dead and buried. I'm just going to zap that Megatronus MDS. But this is all over. My bots will win this without deploying that combiner. And you can see the Tyrannotron sort of special combat ability there is just making mincemeat of everything. Those shrapnels just kind of hitting everything, and that's it. So this is what I mean about improving your Titan. Super, super, super important. So yes, my Titan just then got absolutely tuned up by Nemesis, and you know, big salute to Target in Scorched Earth. However, my Titan is still carrying all of the, you know, fully maxed out tech tree advantages that I've managed to invest in him. And you know, somebody, I think it was Constantine, was asking me on Discord earlier, you know, what constitutes good value to spend on when you're first starting out? And the reality is you're going to have to balance that against, do I want to pull lots of new 5-stars? Yeah, of course you do, because you want to invest in them rather than investing in 4-stars if that's how you're going to play the game. You can play the game up to prime level with 4-stars. I know plenty of people that do. But to be really, really competitive, you're going to need to go into that kind of 5-star realm eventually. But a 5-star is going to cost you millions in Energon, millions in Spark, and time and effort. So invest in your 4-stars, invest in your 3-stars, rank them up, because if you jump in the rank, that's going to give them massive ability damage as well. But your Titan, as soon as you acquire a Titan, that is the #1 game changer for a player, as far as I'm concerned. It is the simplest, most cost-efficient, most economical thing that you can do to accelerate and utterly change the output of your team pretty much overnight by getting your Titan up to a strong level. Because the marginal gains that the Titan gives you are significant. But to get to Titan through the campaigns, you've got a lot of unlocking to do. But this is the nature of the game. So that was just a bit of live war for you. That is how I path. Let's just see if the next base is a front load. If it's not, I won't play it. If it is, I'll play it. It's another rear load. So I'm just going to let that one slide, because I'm just going to be showing you the same thing, and we've been talking for a good couple of hours now, pretty much, almost, or an hour and 15 minutes. Get your Titan up to a really really strong level. Would be my advice. Okay, last little feature. We're gonna do some Deadbot Squad. So Deadbot Squad 1986. Let's just bring a little image up just so you're all aware of what we're talking about here. So Deadbot Squad 1986. These are all the bots who were unceremoniously murdered by the Decepticons in 1986. I have brought them all back to life, as it were, in the game, so that we can play them. And every week we do this with this little team of kind of vagabonds. Just going to coin these guys back into existence. That's how much I love you, is spending my own coins to get this kicking. So who am I missing? I'm missing my Prowl, because stupidly, both him and Ironhide I've put on a dispatch mission. So I'm going to have to use a much lesser Ironhide and a much lesser Prowl. Oh no, Prowl is alive. So it's just Ironhide. So in place of Ironhide, I'm going to sub in Pipes just for this week. Pipes has got a crazy setup at the moment. It's going to do him no good whatsoever. It is Primer and Wingblaze. Wingblaze, who wouldn't have even existed in 86, so I'm bending the rules slightly. We've got Alchemist. I say let's run Primer. And we've got Computron running today from the war instead of Volcanicus. Let's run with these guys. So the rule is for Deadbot Squad, you can play this at home. You can do this in your own time. It's such a cool, fun little squad. You got Ultra Magnus, Ratchet, Wheeljack, Brawn, Optimus, Rodimus, Prowl, and normally Ironhide, today Pipes, and normally Volcanicus, today Computron. With Primer, so we can feel his calming presence. We start at the very first normal. We started back here, like in zone 11, maybe even zone 9, like nearly 2 months ago. Every week these cool little bots, these weirdos, they win. We're going to go and see if we can give it a go again today. So my favourite tactic with these guys is to kind of mimic how all of us play when we first start out, which is just charge at the Light Brigade. So I think we're gonna continue doing this. Ultra Magnus, for those of you who don't know, he is like what we would call a one-shot. So he's a range special, or rather a melee special. Ultra Magnus did come back to life, but he was definitely dead. The Rekgar and the Junkions, once they decided that they liked the Autobots after Cup and Hot Rod persuaded them by giving them Energon goodies and saying Bar Weep Grana Weep Ninibon to them, they had a dance together. And Ultra Magnus was brought back to life using string something they found in Wheeljack's garage, and some car wax. Quite why they couldn't do that to Optimus, who earlier in the film had been shot once. Ultra Magnus had literally been hung, drawn and quartered by Galvatron off screen, which, if you've ever wondered, is why it sounds like Ultra Magnus is being tortured. In the original screenplay, he was going to be. So, Ultra Magnus dead, comes back to life. Ratchet, extraordinarily dead. That's what I've got on my Ratchet. Wheeljack, dead off screen, on screen in the widescreen version. Brawn, absolutely dead. Takes Megatron's full fusion cannon to the shoulder. Optimus, obviously, super dead. Rodimus dies kind of when he's hot rod, and then as a kind of like deity comes back as Rodimus Caravan. Rodimus Winnebago. Rowdy Rodimus Prime, who I've put Buzz Strike on for a bit of a change. Prowl, very dead. Very dead, and not somebody I use a lot. I've been slowly sort of upgrading him, but it is slow. And normally we'd have Ironhide, who is unceremoniously executed by Megatron in the shuttle that Hot Rod and Daniel then see from Lookout Mountain. So this is what we're going to do. We're just going to bang them all down. And then we are going to race like crazy with Optimus up to the top, and we're going to vaporize everybody with Rodimus Prime. Because that's how we do it. That's how we do it in the Deadbot squad. And we just kind of hope for the best. So we're going to get them as close as we can to the HQ. And then I'm going to switch Rodimus Prime's ability on. And as you can see, Rodimus Prime's ability is insane. That's it. It's over. It is over.
Yes, I believe I can.
Oh, yes, you can. So, people talk a lot about the meta, the most effective tactics available. Imagine if you were able to just bring like a super high DPS squad to bear with like a general level Rodimus Prime and a rush strategy, maybe with Optimus, don't know, but just melt somebody's base with Rodimus Prime. I'm desperate to try it on like a really super high power base. Let's see what we get on the next one. I'm going to coin these guys out. But yeah, no Prime, no Biner, and a utterly weak ass Titan Metroplex. Yeah, Prime Zone. Let's take a run. Let's see how we do.
Your bargaining posture is highly dubious.
Yeah, I'd say it is. But we are getting there. Right. Again, it is prime for a melt strategy. So, I mean, let's do it. Let's just drop everybody and go for it. One of the lovely things about Brawn is you can just kind of switch whole bits of the base off. So an MDS is not disableable, but pretty much everything else is. So for not very much, Brawn can just switch everything off that's going to hurt you, as I'm doing right now, whilst just, also inflicting damage on it. So literally anything that could hurt me at the moment is dying. So I'm just going to corral everybody now and get Optimus doing his job. Optimus appears to have frozen in time and space. That was an interesting little bug. Okay, he's still not working properly, but let's see. No, he's really buggy. Bit of live bug sort of situation going on here, because you can see Optimus is not moving correctly at all. And then we're just going to switch Rodimus Prime on, and they've melted that headquarters. Prime League hard mode. That is not a Prime League hard mode base, but that, my friends, is some serious such heroic nonsense. So I think we've just determined that Optimus Prime might be a bit buggy. So I'd be fascinated to know if that is apparent in the rest of the game, If it is, let me know. I will feed that in through my playtesting circles anyway. The Optimus Prime is looking a touch buggy, but if you want to play at home, this is the Dead Bot Squad 1986. There they are on the screen. Try them at your level. Try them at all levels. They're a joy to play with. I really like playing. I even play with them like in events and things, just for my own amusement. Yeah, lovely. Absolutely lovely.
But Prime, I'm just a soldier. I'm not worthy.
So, that, ladies and gentlemen, is almost it for the show tonight. I'm just going to transition to Big Me. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved spending time with you this evening and talking to you about Transformers Earthwars and lots of other things. We've gone over sort of survival strategies for new players. We've gone over bot cores for new players and what is a good choice to invest your time, resources and money on. Top tip, don't let your resources get into the red, spend them, because certainly when you get to like level 13, HQ13, people are going to start attacking you. They're not going to be attacking you too much before that, to be perfectly honest. But as soon as you've got it, spend it, would be my advice. Invest in those G1 cores at whatever level and then swallow them up, sort of upgrading them in your core lab as soon as you can. I wouldn't prioritize investing in your base to start with. Certainly up to like HQ13. Prioritize investing in your bots and investing in your cores. And if you're investing in bots, we'll go through next time and throughout this week on what are your best enduring bets for bot investment. But number one, get a good rush tank. Grimlock, Ironhide, Pipes, Armada Scavenger, Slug at a push, but definitely Grimlock, Ironhide, Pipes would be my top three. Smokescreen, if you can get him, he is the most important bot in the game and will be forever, unless somehow sniping the MDS becomes less of a viable option, but it won't be. It will always be one of the most effective things you can do, because you're always going to be able to up Smokescreen's abilities unless he is nerfed to oblivion, which is not going to happen. A long range sniping strategy is going to be really really important to you. And thirdly, medic. Invest in your medics. Keep your bots alive. I appreciate that people play sacrifice strategy, so sack strategies, but that is not always the optimum, certainly when you get up into the higher levels. I know some people do because they really enjoy it or it gives them certainty, but when you think about it, you are losing an entire bot from the board. That is one entire bot that you are down, which means that you're not going to be as combat effective as you otherwise would be. So I think sack strategies, yeah, perfectly good for variation, perfectly good for certainty for some people, perfectly decent idea to lure the enemy's bots towards your combiner or towards your own bots. Got it, check. But is it the most effective thing to do all the time? Not really. Keep your bots alive. So great rush tank, Grimlock, Pipes, Ironhide, maybe Armada Scavenger, maybe Slug, but definitely Grimlock, Pipes, Ironhide. Invest in a medic, any medic, but if you can, ratchet Wheeljack Minerva. Minerva's going to get buffed soon with like a new special ability, level 11, and she's a great medic anyway. She's a bit more expensive than she should be, but that's a different story. And then if you can get your sticky little mitts on Smokescreen, definitely invest in Smokescreen. Smokescreen can just sniper bots and buildings, and if you can get your hands on Tyrannotron, do. Other long range gunners that I would invest in, like massively, Gears and Mirage. just immense bots. Mirage is just superb. I use him pretty much everywhere. I use him in events. I use him in war. I use him in raids. There isn't anything that I don't use Mirage for, really. If I could take him shopping, I would do. If I could have him on my civilian work team, I'd probably employ him. Just a superb bot. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Rook is also an endearing presence, but RC is also excellent and probably deserves a buff, or at least a rework. So we'll go through kind of team mechanics another night, but tonight we've just done what's inside the bots, the cores, and some war strategy. A few people out there in the kind of chatverse have told me, and I purchased this, by the way, the Transformers Universe. It's from the 80s. It's every single bot with like their original G1, but it's also got like what they're about, what their motto is, what their weaknesses are. And several people have said to me very generously in the chat that I have quite a nice speaking voice. And have I ever done any voiceover work? The answer is I haven't, but I always wanted to be an actor. So somebody was talking to me about sort of Transformers ASMR the other day, which sounds like a lovely thing to me. And I know some people listen to this while they're at work, or while they're golfing or running or whatever. But I thought I'd read you Kranix's entry from here. So this is his original design by Bob Budiansky, Ian Aiken, and Brian Garvey, who were original authors, artists, and designers. And I'm going to do it as kind of a bedtime story style for everybody. So this is Kranix, is a Legion's non, so he is multi-factional, although we all know who Kranix is about. He's a scientist, he's progressive, he is not going to be, interested in authoritarianism in any way, shape or form. He is from Lithone, the sort of fated planet that is eaten by Unicron. And his first appearance before the movie was the Transformers the movie comic #1. And weirdly, his motto is, before you can be a survivor, you must be a winner. Which feels slightly lacking in altruism for old Kranix. But here we go. So his profile, chivalrous, and he sounds chivalrous, doesn't he? He sounds like he should be a bit like, for those of you who enjoy Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where he meets the old knight at the very end, and the horrible bloody Nazi sort of drinks from what he thinks is going to be the Holy Grail, and then it's promptly melted. And he goes, he chose poorly. And then he goes, oh, you have chosen wisely. Lovely old Pr1me actor. Very similar voice. So, profile, chivalrous, well skilled in the art of war. Kranix is a friar warrior and the last survivor of the planet Lithone. A friar warrior. So he's part of some sort of quasi-scientific religious sect. How fascinating. Like all Lithonians, Kranix possesses a high percentage of emotional circuits in his computer brain. But instead of incapacitating him with fear, as it does his friend Arbulus, and God knows it incapacitates poor old Arbulus, doesn't it? These extra emotional circuits give him the most complete personality of any robot in existence. What a claim to fame. The most complete personality of any robot. How amazing. In fact, Autobots who have met both Kranix and Earthlings have actually said he seems more human than some of the Earthlings that they know. I certainly think Kranix seems more human than quite a lot of the Earthlings that I see every now and then. Not looking at you at all, Andrew Tate, or anybody like that. Abilities. Kranix can transform into a star-spanning space cruiser that may or may not look like a duck. I'm adding this. I may have bought the Kranix toy. He is a very perfect little toy. if you can get your sticky mitts on him, do get him. Kranix can transform into a star-spanning space duck-shaped cruiser in 0.25 of a second. In space cruiser form, he can reach speeds of over 1,000 miles a second for short bursts. His neutron-propelled engines give him an almost infinite range, as they can use even the smallest atomic particle in space to power them, though because of the scarcity of such particles, Kranix's speed is literally slowed to a crawl once his fuel reserves are exhausted. Weaknesses. The burden of being the last survivor of his home planet Lithone has taken a huge toll on Kranix. A melancholy cloud seems to hang over him. Some say he's lost all purpose, and now can only achieve peace in a warrior's death in the forefront of battle. What a sad tragedy poor old Kranix is, but what a joy that Transformers Earthwars has brought this lovely old wizard, this lovely old scientist back to life. I cannot wait for him to be playable in the game and to give him a literal new lease of life in the Transformers franchise and in the mythology. I hope you're all excited for him too. I can't wait for that. This has been lovely. I've been Ultra Pittus. This has been such heroic nonsense and better things to do tonight than die. The first in a series of stuff that I'm doing for new players. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed spending the time with you, but please just go away and leave me alone, would you? Good night, everybody.
We now return to